So we'll display one heading here that if we are right now showing all the links or just active links, and then we are going to have a button here which will act as a link. So if we are on all links page, it will say active links only, and if we are on active links page, that button will show all links. All right, so let's quickly do that. So save everything. Now we don't need this section, so we can remove this. And now we don't need this underscore links, we can remove this as well. All right, save it. Now after the section and before this quick grid and everything, here we are going to have a div class row, and let's have margin top 3 empty 3. All right, inside this I'm going to have a div class, let's say called 12, which is total. Then we are going to have a display flex, justify content between, so that I can have the heading and the button on each corners horizontally. All right, and then for align item center, so vertically center. All right, inside this first I'm going to have a heading, so I'll say h3. Inside this we will check if we are currently showing show active only. If we are showing active only, we'll say active links, and if not, we'll say all links. This is displaying all, and links we can have outside of this condition, so it will say active links or all links. All right, so save it. After this we are going to have an anchor tag a href, and here we need to show the URL. We need to have that URL which will add that query string parameter. We'll work on this. Then we are going to have some class btn sm, let's say btn outline primary. Then we'll say show and the opposite of this condition. So let's copy this. So if we are showing active right now, so for this we'll say show all, or if we are just displaying all right now, we'll here say show active links, or we can have this links outside same way, show all links, show active links. All right, now for this URL we need to have this URL dynamic on the basis of the current show condition. So what we can do, we can simply have one more computed property, the way we have the show active only. Same way we can have private string, let's say show button link URL. Okay, and here we will check if show active only. If right now we are showing just active, we'll say app slash mylinks slash show equals all, right? Or maybe we can make it dynamic like this, and here we'll say show type dot active only, no sorry, show type dot all. If that's not the case, that means we are displaying all right now. So for that we can simply copy this, paste it here, and we'll say app mylinks show active only, like this. Now we do show button link URL, and here on this ahref we can simply use the show button link URL, and now we should be good. So we'll save it and we'll run it. So we'll see, we can see these two buttons, and these buttons are changing the URL and heading. So my links, active links, show all links. If you go to show all links, I have added this slash. I should have added question mark. So question mark, because this is query string. Question mark, save everything, run it. Okay, so now let's go to my links. My links, active links. Right now we are displaying active links. It is showing 0 items. If you go to show all links, so the URL is changing and this text is changing. Right now we have all links, so it is saying show active links. If I click on this show active links, right now we are showing active links and it is showing show all links, but it is not working. The logic is not working. We are not able to get the links now. This thing we are going to fix now. We are going to fix next basically, but for now we are good that this functionality is working. All right, so let's have this page here and close all others. Close all but this. All right, now for this to work we need to see what is the issue with this current implementation. So I'm going to add a breakpoint here in this on initialized async. Okay, now I'm going to run this. Now it is running. We'll go to my links page. On initialized async got hit. If we check show active only, this is true. We will continue and we are good. Now if I click on this show all links, you see nothing happened. This changed, heading changed, button text changed, URL changed, but that breakpoint did not get hit. Again same thing, everything is changing but the code, the breakpoint is not getting hit. That's because how Blazor works. If so, let's open it again. Right now we are on this page, mylinks.razor page with this mylinks URL, and when we click on this button we are on the same URL, and for this URL we have this same page component, that mylinks.razor. So we are on the same page component, and if we are clicking on any link which points to the same component, same URL. So all these JavaScript frameworks, for example Angular, and Angular also does the same thing, so they reuse the existing instance of the page. So that means that instance is already there, so this mylinks.razor page is already there, so on initialized already got executed, so it is not going to execute it again because it already has that instance, so it is going to reuse that. But we are changing something is changing, this parameter is changing for this thing, this show. So for this Blazor gives us one lifecycle method. We are going to use that method. So that method is on parameter set and or on parameter set async, this thing. So we are going to use this thing here. Let's now put a breakpoint and put a breakpoint on initialized async and on parameter set async in both of these methods. Let's run it. Now we'll see. We are here on this page. We'll go to my links page. On initialize async, we'll continue. On parameter set async, we'll continue. And we have this thing. Then we'll go to show all links. Now you see on parameter set async method got hit. We'll continue. We are here. Show active links on parameter set async. We'll continue. So we are coming on this on parameter set async method each time when we are doing this. So on initialize getting executed only once, and when this after that on parameter set async or on parameter set, these methods get executed whenever there is any property or any parameter of this page is changing. All right, so we are going to use this. Let's stop it. First thing, for this first on initialized async, we are not using anything async inside this. So this async, this is actually value for this links provider. So we are not directly awaiting anything inside this. So we can use the normal version without async version of this on initialize. So we'll say protected override void on initialized. Now we need to, whenever this parameter set async is getting called, we need to refresh the grid because that something has changed. When we'll refresh the grid, it will force this thing to rerun. Okay, so in order to refresh this quick grid, we can have access to this grid's reference. Okay, and that reference will be of type quick grid only. So let's have that reference here somewhere. Here we'll say private quick grid of type link DTU. We'll use underscore grid. Now this could be nullable. So it will be null before first render. Okay, because this reference, this is actually, we could say, the reference of the rendered quick grid. So that does not exist before rendering. So it will be there after render, after first render basically. Now we need to bind this to the grid. So on this quick grid, let's expand this. On this quick grid, we'll set a ref at the rate ref property. What's happening? At the rate ref. Okay, and here we'll say underscore grid. So this is the reference for this. Now we have this underscore grid, and now whenever we are coming to this parameter set async, here inside this we can call a method underscore grid dot refresh data async, and because this is async we can await it. Now this grid can be null and will be null for the first render. So for this we will first check if underscore grid is not null, then you need to refresh it. And we are, what is happening? Okay, we are missing async. Yeah, save it. Now for the first render, for the first thing, this on initialize this version, this is automatically going to be executed, and after that whenever we are changing any parameter, it will come to this thing and then we'll explicitly refresh the grid. So it will re-render this thing or re-execute this thing, which will re-render the quick grid with the latest data. So here now we can have our is loading to true and false explicitly, and now we are good. Let's remove this, save everything, and we are good. Let's try to run it now, but we will not be able to see the grid refresh, right? Let's add a breakpoint inside this links provider so that we can see how many number of times this links provider is executing, because right now we don't have that active and inactive link logic. In backend we have that, but we don't have any active or making the link active or inactive. That UI is not there still. We'll work on that when we'll work on edit link functionality. All right, for now let's go to my links. It got hit. We'll continue and we should see something, but we are not. We'll check what is happening here, but we are good. Now let's click on show all links. It again came here. Continue, and we are good. It came, although the data is not coming. We'll see what is happening, but for this we are good that okay, we are here, this method is getting executed. Let's try it one more time. If we click on show active links, we are here, we can continue, and it is coming here. All right, okay. Now let's see what is happening. So this functionality is working. We just need to see why data is not coming. Okay, so it comes sometime, it does not come the second time. So we want to see what is the issue with all this. For that, let's run and let's try to see what is happening inside network. I'm going to open it. Let's go to network. We have fetch. Let's go to my links. We got data this time. If, if we click on show all links, we again got the data. Show active links, we again got the data. Was it not? Was it some caching issue or what was it? Okay, we'll see next time when it does not work, then we'll try to debug it. All right. For now, we are good that this thing is working. We can see the loader and we can see this. All this thing is happening and we should see the paging. This is also working. So we are good with all these right now. All right. Now, next thing we'll work on, let's say quickly work on this copy, these copy buttons. All right, so we want to copy the URLs, these URL. When we click on this one, it should copy this long URL, and when we click on this, it should copy this, sorry, short URL, and then it should copy this long URL. All right, so we already have that copy functionality that is on our generated link model, right? So we'll go to shared components, generated link model. Here we have the JavaScript interop. We are injecting JS runtime, IGS runtime, and then we are invoking this copy to clipboard. Let's copy this thing. This line, await JS runtime invoke void async window.copy to clipboard. We already created this JavaScript method. We are going to reuse this. Let's go to my links. Here I'm going to inject IJS runtime. I'm going to call it JS runtime only. Then I'm going to create a method, private async task copy link async. All right, and here I'll provide link, or let's say link URL. And inside this, I'm going to just paste this await JS runtime invoke void async window.copy to clipboard, and this copy this link URL, and we should be good. All right, so let's use this method on our copy buttons. So we have those copy buttons in this flex grow 1. We have first copy button here, button. So here we'll say, what is this? ms1 margin start 1, ms1. All right, here we'll say @ on click, and we are going to call this method copy link async, and we need to provide the link URL. So for this first one, it is going to be context.short URL. All right, now let's copy this on click, paste this for the second copy button, and here it is going to be long URL. So save it, and now we are good. And now let's run it again. Let's see if this functionality is working. Okay, we are here, go to my links, and again it didn't work. It's good. When we can reproduce the issue, then it's always a good sign for us, for developers. If we can reproduce, we can fix it. Show active links. The request went to this thing, app my links, show all. What? Why it went to this URL directly? Payload, show all, and it should have been just that API request, right? Console, we are running inside WebAssembly. If I click on it again, this is again a fetch request for this complete URL. Because we are on this URL, that's why. Strange. So this page, if we go and if we see interactive auto render mode, we are in auto render mode, and then we are using anchor tag. It should be fine actually. Let me quickly see what is the issue here. So it took a lot of time, but I still not able to figure out what the issue is. But the good thing is we have alternative approach as well for this. So we have one alternative solution for this. The solution is also 100% legit. We can use it. So the thing is, when we click on these buttons, these, instead of uh, making it as link click, we can directly have button click. All right, what we can do, instead of making it as anchor tag, we can simply have it as a button. So I'm going to comment this anchor tag out for now. I'm going to use button, type button. What is happening? Button, type button, and we can remove this href. We'll have the text and everything same. We will just add one on click here, and we'll say, let's say show or toggle active only, something like this. All right, so now we can define this method. Inside here we'll say private async task toggle active only, and here we'll say show, or maybe now we don't need this thing, the supply parameter from this thing. We can simply comment this out, and we don't need this as a computed property now, and we don't need this show button link URL here. I'm going to leave these like this commented lines only. So if you want to try it out, or maybe if you guys know what is happening here and how can we fix it and what is the issue, so do let me know in the comment. Maybe I can also learn something new. All right, so instead all this, what we'll do, we'll simply have a private bool underscore show active only, and default value will have true. All right, and now when we are using this thing inside this on initialize links provider, we are going to use this lowercase underscore show active only, this variable. All right, after this, what we'll do, in toggle active only, we'll say underscore show active only equals opposite of show active only. So if it was true, we'll make it false. If it was false, we'll make it true. After doing this, we will refresh the grid. Now we can simply copy this thing, whatever we have in on parameter set async, we are going to use it here. So we'll set is loading, we'll check if grid is not null, then we'll simply refresh it. Although we know that this is not going to null now, because this thing is interactive, and interactive means we already have rendered something on the page. So we are good, we can safely remove this condition from here, because we are sure that grid is rendered. So we have this grid's reference. Save it, and now we don't need this on parameter set async, we can simply comment this out. Now we'll go to the top, show active only, this does not exist now, so we'll use that underscore show active only. Same thing we'll use here, underscore show active only. All right, so now we have changed this approach, or I think this approach makes more sense in this, because this page is interactive, so there is no point of changing the URL and getting something from server and changing this route and everything. We can simply have interaction here, so we can simply call this. So this method is better. Let's see if it works. Hopefully it should work, but let's check. Okay, so it's here. Let's go to my links, show all links, show active links, and still there is some issue. Let's quickly see. We are on fetch XHR. If we click on it, okay, it is the loader is coming, but we cannot see anything. That means grid is not refreshing, but it should refresh. Now let's put breakpoint and let's see what is happening here. The first breakpoint I'm going to add inside this links provider. Then second breakpoint I'm going to add in toggle active only. Alright, so this loading and this thing is working. That means something is happening for sure. Alright, let's try to show active link. We clicked on it and breakpoint got hit. If we'll see, initially right now show active only was false. Now it will be true. Is loading true. Now we are refreshing the grid. It came here. It should have generated this URL, right? Show active only is true now. Links, we have 0 links. Count, we have 0 count. That means this request didn't make to the server, or if I continue, okay, it again came here. This time again with the same thing. Same links 0, count 0. And we are good. It didn't go. Is it some request caching or something like that? I don't know. Let's check network tab. Fetch XSR. There is nothing. It did not made that API request. Why didn't it make it? Let's do this. I'm just trying something, so I'll do this. I'll say random.share.next anything next double.toString. So the first parameter of this this get links by user async, this method, I'm changing it to some random. We're not using this on client side. All right, let's run it and let's see if this makes any difference. I don't know, maybe this Refit is caching it or browser is caching it, but if browser caches, it shows that request in network tab and it shows from cache, from disk cache, something like that, right? Let's go to my links, 0, show all links, again nothing, network, fetch, show all links, show active. Why it is not making there? Okay, now let's do this, get links by user async. Let's go to this implementation. So we'll go to link API proxy. Here we are going to add this breakpoint. Okay, let's check now. Show active links. And that breakpoint did not get hit, this breakpoint. What? Let's put a breakpoint here. Show all links. Breakpoint. Okay, continue. Let's put a breakpoint here. F11, yes. It directly went to this get links by user async. But how come did it went there using, it is using SignalR? This time it is using SignalR. Okay, that's the point. Alright. When it is using SignalR, that means Blazor server, because we are using InteractiveAuto Render Mode. So when it is going to use SignalR, then it will not use API route. It will directly come here, and because we are not providing user ID, okay, that's the issue. All right, so that means using the initial approach with that URL approach, this was the issue, and now it makes sense. I hope you guys understand. So I was thinking that it is using WebAssembly at that point of time, but sometimes when we refresh or when we go to that page, it uses, whenever it is using SignalR, we are not getting data, and when it is using WebAssembly, then we are getting the data. If I'll continue from here, continue, we are not going to get anything because we are not providing the correct user ID. Now if I go to dashboard, which does not exist, maybe we are going to, we'll go to home, or we came back, and now it is calling this API because we went out of this page and then we came back to this page. Now it is using WebAssembly. This is how interactive auto render mode works. How can I make this silly mistake? Well, not mistake, it was just concept understanding mismatch, we could say. But now we know what is happening. Alright, so we can go back to that question mark or URL route if we want, but I think this approach, this using this as a button, this makes more sense because we are on interactive page, and now it is going to use this get link by user async, this API route only. All right, so let's quickly fix this. Let's provide the actual user ID. So on this page, what we can do, we can simply have one parameter here, public, not HTTP context, because this page is interactive. So for SSR, static SSR pages, we can have HTTP context and we can get user ID from there. But for the interactive pages, we can use authentication state, that cascading parameter. All right, so here I'm going to do public task of authentication state. Let's say auth state task get set, and this is going to be a cascading parameter which Blazor is going to provide us. All right, now we can use this auth state task to get the user ID for our use case. All right, so for this, what we'll do, in on initialized async, this method here, we'll say var auth state equals await auth state task, await auth state task. Now we need to use the async version of this method, async. Now we have this auth state, and from this auth state we can get our user ID. So we'll say var user ID equals auth state dot user dot get user ID, which is our extension method. Now let's use this user ID and pass it here. Now for Blazor server using SignalR, it will use this user ID, and for WebAssembly it is going to skip this. We will have the actual user ID passing from here, but the logic, the API call will skip this, and on the server we are going to get it from the claims directly. So it should work for all these cases. Let's save everything, remove all breakpoints. So we'll say, let's say, yeah, delete all breakpoints for now, and let's run it. Now we should have actual links and actual URL and the actual data every time. Okay, we are here. Let's go to my links. We have my links and we can see this links. Show links, we can see the links. Show active links, we are good. Now let's go to home page, come back to my links page, and now also we can see this. All right, this thing is working, and pagination should also work now. Next, previous, we can see this changing. All right, so we are good. After this active links, show active links, let's add a HR one line. So here, after this div class row, this called 12, let's have HR tag. So we'll save it, hot reload. Let's see if it makes to this thing. Yes, we can see this now. All right, so we can see this and we are good with this page now. All right,